Right, so I'll get straight to it. Hopefully, everybody can hear me well. And I will start explaining about knowledge transfer partnerships. And as I just previously said, please, any questions, you can add them into the messages. And then right after I get through the presentation, we can go through those questions one by one. Um, Furthermore, please note, the presentation will take about 10-15 minutes, so we won't take too much of your time. We'll get most of the details there. And then, as I said, those questions, just bring them in, and I'll give you my contact details as well in the end if needed. So, to start, QRDI Knowledge Transfer Partnerships. This is a program actually that was built by QRDI in 2024. The program was based on an MOU with Innovate UK. The UK have been doing a very similar program since the 70s, and it's been a program that has been highly successful. They say for every £1, £1 that they invest into KTP, the government, they expect a return of £8 to the economy, right? Furthermore, knowledge transfer partnerships, and as I'll explain, has good financial benefits for businesses that apply, and also benefits for the universities who participate in KTP. My name is Amir Nehum, and I manage the KTP program. I have previously worked on other innovation programs at QRDI. But this one is the program I lead at the moment. It was, as I said, launched only last year, and we've had good success so far. And I'll even explain some of the successful applications. Right. So, what is KTP? KTP will support R&D projects between a business and a university. And now this is really, really important. Those who participate have to be part of a business, and there has to be someone from the university. It is where the business, and it could be a small business, a large business, or even a multinational, has a strategic plan to grow in a specific area, but they lack the expertise or capabilities, right? This is where it starts. The business has that strategic plan to grow. Second point, the knowledge institution, the university or research center, has the knowledge or capability to support the business. And that's important because they have the strategic plans to grow the business. The Knowledge Institute has some of the knowledge, right? It could be based on previous research, previous science, previous, even just knowledge from the academic themselves, and they believe they can support the business. What we do is, once there's that partnership between a business and a university, the associate is employed to deliver the project. And that's basically what the main funding is about. The business and university apply together. Once accepted, we support them to employ an associate who's usually a graduate, but the job description of this person can be depending on the project, and they're employed to implement the project. Furthermore, it's supported by us, supported by QRDI as a knowledge transfer advisor. So, to go through it again, universities on one side, businesses on the other, and that is what knowledge transfer partnership is all about. And with the funding, you can bring in an associate to work between the university, but full time at the business to deliver the project. And all of these projects are R&D projects. That's really important as well. And we're there to support that service. So the university supports the associate, which is about 10% of the academics' time, and the associate services or works at that business. Who can apply to KTP? It has to be any Qatar-based business, small, large, but as long as they're registered here. Furthermore, even multinationals who are registered here as a branch. And it has to be in partnership with a Qatar-based knowledge institute. So any of the Qatar universities, right? Qatar University, HBKU, any of those in QF, etc. They cannot be a university from abroad. It has to be Qatar-based. Once you apply, it's really three things that are important to show. First of all, it's a real business need. a genuine market opportunity, um, and you have to show how the knowledge gained from the university will be embedded within the business. So we have seen once when we launched the program last year, and we discussed with our colleagues in the UK, we found that most businesses that apply once to KTP, they continually apply again because they find a lot of benefit from it. Furthermore, sometimes the knowledge gained, some of these businesses actually open up departments or units within their business with this new knowledge. And lastly, the university benefits greatly because they get to work with the business, get to work in real market needs, and they gain a lot of knowledge, and it opens up other KTP opportunities in future. So why does KTP work? First of all, it de-risks the innovation process. For a business, innovation is risky because it can sometimes work and sometimes it doesn't work. Innovation has high gains, but sometimes not all of it works. And so this de-risks it by QRDI providing a part of the funding for this innovation project. It's also builds relationships and develops partnerships. This formalizes relationships between the university and businesses. I found in other presentations or discussions with universities, when I present KTP, I'll get a hand up and they'll say, look, I already work, and this is the academic, say, I already work with a business, but in an informal way sometimes. And so KTP formalizes that relationship and also provides a lot of the funding as well. Lastly, it's a catalyst for further innovation. Once the university works with a business, they get real market insights and understanding, and it develops further innovation opportunities for the business and the university. Right. In regards to the business, what do they get for this money? Now, I know most of our participants today would be from the academic background, but it's important if you are interested in this and you're discussing with a business to understand what is their benefit. What do they get for their money? First of all, they get an associate who's a full-time employee who is mostly funded by QRDI, the QRDI grant. So it's a full-time employee focused on project delivery. It's new talent, skills, and knowledge in the business. And there's a budget that includes for consumables and others, and even training. The business also gets half a day per week input from a specialist academic team within the university. They get project management support and access to wider university resources. We find a lot of businesses would love to work with universities, but they don't know how to access. With a KTP, it's an opportunity to get the knowledge, but also potentially the resources as well once the university approves. Lastly, there's definitely support from QRDI pre and post award on the KTP project. For the business, for the university, the first benefit for the university is that the KTP projects are delivered on a full-time economic cost basis. All of the costs for the university are covered. It's covered by the QRDI grant, as well as some contribution from the business. And I'll go over the contribution required from the business. Furthermore, you usually find that the academic partners usually produce further high-quality journals and conference papers. We encourage about 2 to 3 research papers per project, and that is the norm. So, as I said, because we only launched in 2024, but based on the model that we've seen in the UK and other models around the world, these sorts of partnerships produce academic papers and new knowledge for the university. And also for the academic, opens up new opportunities and new areas to explore. Thirdly, it's an opportunity for undergraduate or postgraduate placements to work on these projects. While the associates, once you apply, you don't have to identify them at first. You can sort of employ from the university. So you don't have to set it in stone at application stage, but it is an opportunity for the university graduates to get these job opportunities. And lastly, for the university, it can contribute towards success metrics, right? For the academic and for the university in general. So KTP is all about spirit of partnership. Once you apply, you have to apply as an academic and a business together. It is the university that will apply, But having that relationship is really important. And furthermore, QRDI there is there to support as well. To go over the KTP program, now all of these details are available online, and I can show you the link shortly. But just to go over the details, the project eligibility, well, the project needs to be, as I said, it needs to be innovative with commercial opportunity, commercial potential. This is important. We expect projects of between 1 to 3 years. This is what you can apply for. At the end of the project timeline, there must be a product, process, or service that's available to be deployed into the market. So this cannot be a research project. It has to be applying knowledge to something that can be deployable into the market. We said the applicant can be a small business or a large business. You can get funding for a staff member, the associate, plus half a day a week of the academic supervisor's time, funded by the grant. The total amount of grant available is 500,000 rial per year. This is the cash amount that QRDI can provide. But remember, with the business's contribution, this amount can be higher. So it's over 3 years, it can be up to 1.5 million Qatari rial. And we have some KPIs that we look for. But the most important thing is that the businesses and the universities are working together. Now, co-funding. So I've been discussing that there's some funding from the business, and this is actually really important for the project. We need to see that the business is committed to the project. And one way to do this is that they will provide some of the contribution. For a small business, QRDI will provide 90% of the salary. Very high, 90%, while the business, the small or medium-sized business, will just provide 10%. So it is a very high amount. For larger businesses, so we've seen applications from Qatar Airways or Qatar Energy, etc., and others, we will only provide 70% if it's a large business, and the large business will have to provide the other 30. And there's the other details for the international company as well. The last budget row there are some specific costs that we can provide support with as well. All of the details are available online on the InnoLight portal, but it's mostly, we will cover 60% of all the university costs. So the academic time, any university costs that will happen. Also, you have a small budget for associate development costs, so training for the associates. Remember, this staff member will work on the project for up to 3 years, so it's important to provide some training for them, and also some equipment costs and travel, etc. All of the details are available online, but broadly speaking, the highest cost is obviously the salary. We can provide up to 90% of that, and the other expenses will provide 60. The business will provide the other 40%. Lastly, on this point as well, I've had questions before where we've had a question and the business says, can I provide in-kind support, not cash support? And the answer is no, it has to be cash support. So for every 100 riyal that is spent on an allowable item, for other expenses, for example, we will provide the 60 riyal, and we have to see that the business provided the 40 riyal, right? And it's the same thing with the salary as well. So how to apply? We've got the new InnoLight portal. I haven't showed it here, but everybody will recognize the general QRDI portal. It's been now renamed to InnoLight. Go online and you'll find all of the details there, including all of the attachments, templates, everything. All of it is there. One item that will be important if you do wish to apply is, first of all, you should know who your business partner is, or your academic partner, but you should know who your business partner is. We can support potentially to identify a business partner if you're coming from the university background, but all of our applications so far has been that the academic knows who their partner is, and that is the main way to go about that. Once you recognize your business partner, you should also, there's a template here to consider about IP rights. While we encourage that the university don't be too tough on IP rights in future with the business, all of the IP rights can be worked out between the university and the business. QRDI will take no IP rights or no future royalties, etc. And that's important. We have all the templates online for that as well. And once you do apply, it will be for the university to apply. It'll be through Q grants. And I'm sure many of you recognize Q grants, and you go through that process and you apply as the university. The funding, once awarded, will go to the university, right? And then between the university and the business, they'll work out. The university will invoice the business for the rest of the cost, but the grant will go to the university, and that's why the university will apply. But you should only apply once you have your business partner ready. As I said, all the details are available online. I can just briefly just touch on some evaluation criteria. They are also available. There's a fact sheet that's specific, is very specific. But just to go over them again here, the evaluation criteria, we're looking at impact, we look at innovativeness of the proposed project. The soundness of the project plan is really important. If you do have a project plan, remember there has to be a product process or service at the end of it. That's really important. It has to be deployable to the market. And lastly, the level of commitment. We need to see that there is commitment from the business and the university. For eligibility, the application must be by a knowledge institution working with the business partner. The project will need to demonstrate an attractive market opportunity, right? And each KTP project is a partnership between a Qatar-based business of any size and a recognized knowledge institute. I've had questions before as well where, for example, some academics already work at a business, they have their own business or they work at a business, as well as at a university. We should be wary about conflicts of interest. So the business that we deal with, there should be no conflict of interest with the university in any way, right? They have to be two separate entities through and through. I can just also briefly touch about previous awards. We only released last year. That was the first time. We're very happy that we were able to award 7 in different areas. So we had one between HBKU and Agrico, which is sustainable resource management for indoor farming. They looked at together how they can utilize the energy use of greenhouses for the best output. It's a really interesting project. We have another project with ADGS, which is about acid decay, and it's also computer based. Then we have one with Weill Cornell. WCMQ is Weill Cornell and a startup called Gamera. It's about stress reduction through VR. Very interesting project. We had 2 from Qatar University in the biomed areas. One is for a cream, one is for a detection of a norovirus. We've had one with Qatar Energy as well, about industrial wastewaters and how to manage that. And lastly, another one with a small business as well, about smart home environment controller. So yeah, we've had different types of projects. As long as we see that process between the university and business working together, then we can be very happy about that. Now I'll go through the messages. We can go through any questions if needed. But please, all of this is the web link. You can go online. All of the details are available online. And I'm very happy to take any further questions also offline as well. As I said, if you're in that situation where you're maybe an academic and recognize a business that you can work together with, this is a fantastic opportunity for you to look into. So I'll wait just a few minutes. Now, this is the end of the presentation. I tried to make it short and sweet. If you do have any questions, please send any messages you'd like. Go ahead. But otherwise, we'll give it a few more minutes and then we can close. So I'll wait a few minutes if we have any questions. So let me try, let's see technically if we can do this. I think Hassan, you have your hand up. So let me try allow to talk. Let's see if we can get the question and everybody else can benefit from it. Hassan, are you there? I think the easiest way will be for just messages if we can. Yeah, Hassan, you're on mute, but maybe that's good. Okay, I'll stop with the Hassan, but let me try with Bismillah. we can see if Dana is available. Let's see, allowed to talk.
Yes.
Dana, hear us?
Hi. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
How are you, Amir?
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the session. It was beneficial. Um, I have a question, please. I went through the document that needs to be submitted to this KTP, and I see that there is something called KTP Joint Commitment Statement and Declaration, which needs to be signed by the SME. From
Right.
industry point of view, I'm just concerned about this one. Why? Because we have an agreement that needs to be signed, and I'm okay with that. We can just arrange with our legals and the university legal to arrange on that. But there is this one. It's like a declaration form that usually our SME does not prefer to sign it something individually out of the usual agreement. What I want to say is that the commitments of the SME usually should be declared in the agreement or anywhere else. Our SME would not like or prefer to sign any other agreement away from legal one separately. So, you know what I'm saying? So, we have an agreement. It has all of the clauses related to that, and we can commit to that. But the SME individually cannot sign it, and he's actually not authorized to do so. It needs to be passed by the legals, and the SME does not sign it. Like the legal will be responsible of that. So I will be having difficulty getting this signed from Shell point of view.
Um, okay, so yes, yes, it's from the I
And to
understand.
declare the support,
Yeah.
we usually provide some support documents that we are to commit with 1, 2, 3. But I don't want to include, for example, the IP in this declaration form
Yeah.
because we already agreed on that on our agreement. But I don't want to make it double documents
Yeah.
that we will agree on because
Okay.
SME will not be authorized to sign it
Mhm.
once it has other things other than his responsibility.
Yeah.
He won't be able to
Right.
sign it.
I can get to the point there. Yeah. So
Mhm.
thank you so much, Dana. Thank you for the question. This may be coming up before. What we can accept at application stage is an unsigned joint commitment statement. We also need to see the collaboration. We recommend the collaboration agreement, but once again, we can just see that the collaboration agreement is just recommended, highly recommended, but it is recommended. The joint commitment statement, we can accept an unsigned version as application, right? But we need to show that we need to see that there's commitment from the business to actually sign it later because we cannot provide the award until it's signed. So Dana, I think we can take this offline. I know we've been in touch. But at least an unsigned version at the very least. Okay.
Okay, clear. We can just agree on that later. Yani.
Okay.
It's fine.
Thank you so
Mhm.
much. Thank you. I'll take some of the other questions now. We have about 27 questions. So the first question from an anonymous is, what would a good partnership look like? Give us a real world use case. I think I've talked about some of these, but you really need to see that partnership. That's the really important thing. A partnership to create a product, process, or service at the end. That's what we need to see. If there's the knowledge, really good knowledge, that's not really provided in the markets as well. So if it's, for example, if it's something that can be provided off the shelf from a consultancy, etc., we're not really interested in this. What we're really interested in is unique knowledge that can be embedded into the marketplace. The second question is from Muhammad Hassan. Is there a certain TRL needed to be accomplished at the end of the project? Actually, it's actually beyond about TRL. It's something a bit different, which is something that is deployable to the market. Super important. At the end of the project, there has to be something that the business can deploy straight to the market, product, process, or service. We're not as interested in the TRL. As long as there's knowledge within the university and then an intention from the business to take that knowledge into something that can go live into the market, then we're very happy. The next one is from Farhan. Must the academic partner only be a university or can be academic health center apply? If it's a knowledge institute, then yes, Mr. Farhan, sorry, it can be. It can be. So I think outreach to me, or even put up a question here of please let me know who the academic health center is. They have to have knowledge. They have to have knowledge. So if I'm thinking HMC, for example, or Sidra, right, Hamid Medical or Sidra, then yes, they can be a knowledge institute for sure because of all what they have. The other smaller ones, we have to just prove that they really do have knowledge. Okay, Sidi, thank you for the presentation. Can the associate be a faculty? Remember, the associate in what we're talking about here has to, you can employ them later, you can identify them later as well, so it's up to you, but they will work full time on the project, right? And so if they're a faculty member, then it becomes harder. So they have to be full time at the business. So basically, no, I think is there, unless very, very special conditions, but remember, they're working full time at the business, so they can't be. Next one from Anonymous, can University Prof apply for this fund with his own startup company in Qatar? Yes, they can actually, but they cannot go in partnership with the same university that they work in. All right. Cannot be the same that they go to the same university that they work in. So no. Next one is does a non-profit organization register Qatar because it's a business? No, it's not. Not a non-profit. It has to be a business. Unfortunately, for this fund, it has to be a service product or process that's deployable to the market, and you have to show how much revenue you can gain from that, etc. Can H next question? Can the business partner be Hamid Hospital? Yes, it can. So Hamid Hospital is in that unique situation where it can be a knowledge institute and also a business. And absolutely, they can be a business, and we're very happy to support with Hamid Hospital. Absolutely, we already work with them and other things, and we can do that. So let me know. Anonymous, can HMC Sidra considers business partner? We just answered yes. Sidra can be HMC. PHCC, if that's the ministry, then no, that cannot be possible. But Sidra and HMC, yes, they can. Question number 2 was, can private hospitals like Al Ahli or pharmacies Khulud be considered as business partners? Absolutely. Al Ahli, pharmacies, Khulud, etc., can be considered as businesses. Absolutely no problem, and it can be a good project. We've already had 2 biomedical, or considered 3 actually, KTPs in these areas, and we're very happy to support that. Will the KTP be extended to next year? Should be. That's the diplomatic answer. Should be. We can't guarantee anything for next year. So it's really an opportunity now to do this. I also want to add, guys, that colleagues, that the deadline for KTP is the end of May. I didn't bring that up in the presentation. It's the end of May, and so if you're interested, just use this opportunity because there is funding available. Next one, can you elaborate more on the IP ownership example if the innovation was originally developed by the business partner? Absolutely. IP ownership for a KTP project is up to the discretion of the business and the university to work out together. What QRDI needs to see is that there is an agreement about how you will deal with future IP. And so it's up to discretion of the business and university. We can provide templates, which is already available online, and advice once we get into some of the details. But it's up to you and the business, absolutely. And there's no right way to do this. Can the associate be a PhD student? Yes, they can. It depends on the project. So once the business and the university apply, then they can set who they expect the associate to be, and it depends on the project. So they may need a PhD graduate, and absolutely, we've seen that before. Does the university need a research center because our application for that is on progress? No, the university does not need a research center. What it needs to show is that they have the knowledge. They have a specific academic who can provide this knowledge, and absolutely. So it doesn't have to have a research center. No. Do NGOs count? We said no, unfortunately, it has to be a business. Next question from what are the possible positions that can be hired for personal on this project, like PhDs, master students, research associates? I think the question here is about the associate. What is their characteristics or specific, what type of graduates? The answer is it depends on the project, the type of project. Some projects, they will just, a bachelor's degree graduate would be more than enough. Some, a master's would be enough. Some, you actually do need a PhD graduate. So it really depends on the project, but we have no specific restrictions. As long as the job description for this associate makes sense as application. question, if the end product or service is deployed internally in the business, is this valid? Yes. So if it's a process, right? If it's an internal process that maybe saves money, for example, or improves the costing of something, then it absolutely can. So the end stage for the KTP should be a product, service for the market, or internal process, that can support internally. You just have to show that there's either increased revenue from this KTP or increased savings, right? Cost savings. Fatma asks, does the university need a research center? Sorry, I've already answered that, and it's no, you don't need a research center. Majid asks, how do we communicate with the business how an industry problem is identified? Right. So at the moment, we expect the academics to already have, sometimes they have a relationship. And so KTP is an opportunity to formalize that relationship with business. While you could reach out to us and explain what knowledge you have, and maybe we have some of the businesses that may be able to support or be able to work in partnership with you. At the moment, we don't formally link universities and businesses together. This is a process that we expect the universities to do themselves and the academics. Can we get the recording? Yep, sure. We can look into that and see if we can do that. I'll check that after with our technical team. How do we get to know about future projects? How to connect with industry to know the needs? I don't have an answer for that at the moment, to tell the truth. This is just an opportunity for businesses and universities to work together. Another question about non-profits. So no. Is the invite email was mentioned that the business should have at least full-time employees, right? Yeah, it's going to be a better application once, if it's a small business, that they have at least 3 employees. So we need to see that the business can last for the 1 to 3 years that the project will be taking place. One way to show this is that they have previous revenue and also have employees. They have a team, so it's a much stronger application. And a question, I'm new to InnoLight platform. I wonder if there's a way to know which business are looking for academics. Yeah, at the moment, there's no way for us formally to connect academics and businesses. But the InnoLight platform does have and showcases a lot of different businesses. So I would suggest to research InnoLight a bit more, and you'll find different businesses online there and different ways to connect with the ecosystem. Next one, can QRDI provide a document or brochure we can take to the business? Online, there is the KTP information sheet with all the facts about KTP. I think you should use that as a basis. Once there's a relationship there, definitely outreach to QRDI, and we can see if we can take it any further from that. I can support with that. Abdul Kareem, not a questions, but he has operated with Innovate UK before. I want to share my experience that this is an excellent incentive. Abdul Kareem, thank you so much, sir. So Abdul Kareem is basically saying that he's worked with Innovate UK before and he's to share his experience and that KTP was excellent. So thank you very much, Abdul Kareem. That made my day. Thank you so much. Meher says, many thanks, very informative. I am sorry as I have to leave. Okay, thank you very much. Alexi asks, in case of a KTP award, who's providing the employment contract for the associates? The answer is very simple here. Because the fund is managed by the university, will be given to the university, it will be the university that will do the contract with the staff, with the associate. The associate will work 90% or 100% of their time at the business, but the contract will be by the university. Next question, what's the level of an associate who can work on this project? Is it a newly hired or existing employee? Well, the associate, you can just put the job description of who they are, who they should be in the application. Once you get awarded, then you can employ anyone really. It can be an existing employee. It could be an existing employee of the business if that's the right person, absolutely. But anyway, it's a new person that's hired, contracted to the university to work at the business. So it's quite flexible with the associate who that person can be. Next question, I've got to thank you. From what I understand, the focus on technical innovations. What about managerial innovations? Yes. So in regards to KTP, we're looking for a product, service, or process within the business The process can be the business management. And we're very happy to consider applications that look at business management systems within these businesses. So the academic from a business management point of view is supporting with that. You can absolutely support these in your application. You just show, the what you expect to be able to deliver and the efficiencies that we expect the businesses to gain. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that absolutely can be. Next one is what would be acceptable to submit as evidence of the business payment for the salary of the associates? So once we award the project, as I said, the money goes to the university. Then it's up to the university how they invoice the business for their contribution, right? That's how it works. This is a simpler point that can be discussed later, absolutely. But there's a way. It's basically the university invoices the business. Kauthar, can we collaborate if we work not in academia but in other organizations like HMC? Yes, so HMC can be considered as a knowledge institute. If you have unique knowledge that can be embedded into business, then absolutely HMC can apply as the knowledge institute if you wish, and you recognize who the business is, and you can absolutely apply. Is it allowed to have more than one academic supervisor? The question. Well, actually, we expect 10% of the time of the supervisor to be on the KTP project once you apply. If you want more than one academic supervisor, then this 10% of time would be split. And so if it was two, for example, two academic supervisors, that means 5% of their time each will be on the project to make a total of 10, because we can support up to 10% of one academic supervisor's time. All that time can be split. I've seen with most applications that there's always one main supervisor, but they do have a support team in the background, but it's usually one, but you can. Can you elaborate on the proposal review process? Absolutely. So once the application comes in, there is internal and external panelists of evaluators who will evaluate each application, and we will evaluate on those the eligibility and the different criteria that we have, including innovativeness, etc. So there is an internal panel and external panel who will evaluate together. Is there a limit on the budget for consumables? Yes, there is. There are some details available in the cost eligibility guide, which is available online, and it's a certain amount per year. You can actually check that out. It's a good amount, but there is a limit. We got another question. Hi, does the business get any money at the end of the KTP for the money they contribute at the beginning? Basically, no. So this is a partnership between the university and the business. We give the grants. The money that the business will get is from the increased revenue or the savings they will gain at the end of the project. So there's no specific money that goes to the business. Absolutely not, no. But they will benefit greatly. Can HMC or CIDR be considered a business partner? Yes, we've answered this. And remember, HMC and CIDR can be considered both a business partner or the knowledge institute. So they're in a unique situation. Can education above all be a business partner or a knowledge partner? I don't know the answer. If they're classed if they are registered as a business, then I guess that's QF. You're gonna have to outreach with me about this. Yeah, I'm not too sure about education above all. I need to come back to you about that one. Can university employ full-time experts as an associate for KTP? I'm not sure. So the details of KTP are very, very clear. It's between the university and the business. We use 10% of the supervisor's time. There's an associate, and so the associate could be an expert if you think so. Yeah. Also, just the previous question about education above all, I can answer that one. If it's classed registered as a business, then they can apply. They can apply. If it's registered as a business, that's the most important thing. So just check with them. If they are registered as a business, then they can apply. Next question. Any minimum qualification or title of the academic applicant? Master PhD or lecturer without PhD. The academic applicant, no, not specifically. As long as there's someone within the university who can demonstrate that they have unique knowledge or expert knowledge that the business can benefit from, then they're more than happy to apply. HMC is a non-profit. Can HMC still be considered as business partner? We can. So within QRDI, HMC and Sidra are in a unique position where we can consider them as a business and a knowledge institute. So HMC is just one of the special use cases in Sidra. Everyone else has to be classed as a business, right?
Thank you, Noha. Thank you, Malik.
Next
يعطيكم
question is the
العافية for
application
this
assessment
comprehensive presentation.
instantaneous or happens? Yeah, does the assessment basically happen after the deadline? Yeah, happens after the deadline because we have to go internally and externally. Next question is how the co-funding will be controlled or managed. Once again, the funding goes to the university and then the university invoices the business. And so it's basically the university managing this whole process, right? The next one is, this may have been covered. How does the university seek an academic partner for the deliverable? I would encourage you as a business to go onto InnoLight portal. On the InnoLight portal, you should write the sort of expertise you're looking for, and a list of academics come up who work in these specific areas. So as a business, if you're looking for academics, absolutely go into InnoLight. It's an incredible portal and it connects you with the resources, facilities of universities and knowledge institutes, as well as academics working in specific areas. So definitely go for that. Dr. Nahla, can we include an international university partner in addition to the internal industry partner? The answer is no, unfortunately. It's just between a Qatar-based university and a Qatar-based business. You're saying maybe we add a third person. Well, the costs don't cover that, unfortunately. So this would be something that be committed to by the business. So we can only provide specific funding, which is available online. Is there a limit on how many KTPs an institution or business partner has? Or how many KTPs an institution or business partner has? No, there is no limit to how many partners you can or how many KTPs you can have. It really depends on your capacity. In regards to the business, if it's a smaller business, then we'd be wary, right? But for a larger business, absolutely, we're very happy. So it just depends on the size of the business, but in principle, you can have multiple KTPs. Can the associate be a scientist or research associate? Absolutely, they can. But remember, they have to work then full time on the business project, right? On the KTP project. But yes, we want scientists, and that's what we're looking for. Really, is we're looking to encourage those scientists and engineers to consider working with the private sector. I had another question. Can education be above all be considered as a business? It has to be. It depends on their business registration. If their business registration classes them as business, then great. If they're not classed as a business, then unfortunately we cannot. How does a business seek academic support without having direct relationship with academia? Okay, so this is once again business. How can business connect with academia? The way we can do that is go through the InnoLight portal, the QRDI portal. It is a mass of resources and connections there. And from that, if you put in the different areas you're looking for, type it in, you can find academics who work in that area and also facilities. It's a really good platform, and I definitely recommend you to check it out. Somebody said, I missed the answer. If a faculty's own startup is eligible. Yeah, so if you're a faculty member, maybe have their own startup, the answer is there cannot be conflict of interest. So it cannot be with the same university that you already work in, right? But it can be with a different university. So if you're employed at Qatar University, you have your own startup as well, and you want to work with HBKU, then absolutely a KTP can be considered because there's no conflict of interest. Rashad asks, can you please share the presentation related links? I'll check with our technical team at the end if we can share this recording, absolutely. But once again, all of the details are available online, and I definitely recommend you to go through the details online. The business company needs to be registered in Qatar or Qatari owned. As long as it's registered, the business was registered in Qatar in any way, as an international branch, as a small business with the ministry, with Qatar Financial Center, with anyone, as long as it's registered here in Qatar, then it's eligible. Does the collaboration agreement need to be signed prior to the deadline? No, it doesn't actually. You can apply without having a signed collaboration agreement, but we would need to see the details of the collaboration agreement. So it does not have to be signed. So if you're wary, as I think we had a question before, that maybe the business partner is not willing to sign until it's confirmed that they can provide the funding, they'll just have a draft, and we'll consider the draft, and then we expect it to be signed before award. How the associate market should be calculated. I'm not sure what that question is. If it's about salary, it's just about market rates, about that. Next one is how the market salary. Yeah, it's the same question. You should calculate it basically as if it's with the academic and business should talk together and they should come out to a number that they expect to pay for such a position. We're open about it, but as long as it matches market rates. Can HMC, yeah, we've answered about HMC, so I won't do that again. Second to last question is just to qualify, the money goes to the academic institution? Yes. So the money goes to the academic institution, remember, from us, and then the academic institution, the university, invoices the business for the rest of the contribution. They employ the associate. CD's asking to check my understanding. The academic partner gets the fund from QRDI for the associate. Why does it need to invoice the business partner for what? Yeah, so remember, we contribute 60% of all the university's costs, 40% of the university's cost, which is the academics' time and any other cost of the university, the business pays. So therefore, we've given 60% of the university cost. The other 40%, the university needs to invoice the business to get their 40%. That's basically how it is. So it makes sense. Somebody's asked about housing allowances for the associate. All of the details are in the cost eligibility guide, and it goes through details what you're allowed to charge for, what you're not, including housing allowance as well. It's there. All the details are there. And I think the last question is, thank you so much. Well, Maha, thank you so much. Well, thank you. And I think that is the last question we've had there. I want to bring this presentation to a close and thank you. You spent your time with us here today. I hope you've understood it a bit more. If you do have that business partner and university partner, I absolutely recommend you to look at all the details online. Look at InnoLight as well if you need more connections. And I'd suggest to apply. It's a good way to formalize a relationship between a business and university that's funded. So thank you very much again, and I hope to see you soon, and hope to see you apply to the fund as well if you have all the details. So thank you very much.